Okay, we're on the air. We're live. It's Monday night on wpat. Executive producer, Mr. James Petrecca and Jim Petrecca Productions. Carmine Baciano, Mr. Rob Rindeman, producer. Mr. Carmine, interviewer. And my name is Smith Teddy. Welcome to the Teddy Smith Rock and Roll Show, reunion show of the United States 2018. And boy, does Jim Petrecca have a lot of guests. Look at the name of some of the guests that we've had in this radio station the last number of years. Maybe you'd like to read a couple, Rob. Read it into the microphone. There we go. Name a couple. Some of the guests we've had in here.
B.J. Thomas, Tom Austin, Barbara Harris from the Toys, Vito Picone from the Elegant, Tony Orlando from Dawn, Joey D from the Starlighters, and Joey Reynolds, radio and TV icon, Don K. Reed, radio icon.
Here we go. Want to cue up the next one, Rob?
I would feel at this moment if you'd stay, I'd subtract 20 years from my life. I'd fall down on my knees, kiss the ground that you walk on. If I could just hold you again. If I could just hold you, if I could just hold you.
Okay, here we go. Billy Vera with Teddy Smith Show. It is Monday Night Live here on WPAT. Welcome to the show, Billy.
Thanks for having me, man.
I love Billy Vera and the Beaters. How's it going tonight in Los Angeles? How's your stove doing?
Well, it's pretty good. The guy just left us a few minutes before you called.
Well, somebody did something right today, right? Or tonight? Today, yeah.
Yeah, man. I get to cook tonight for the first time in my new kitchen.
What was the inspiration of the song I just played that was a big hit in the 80s?
Well, it started out, I met this girl in a club I was playing at. She was a young college girl, very beautiful. And we started dating. She told me about how she broke up with her previous boyfriend and how it crushed him so badly, and he almost went crazy.
Oh, boy.
And so I started writing the song from what I perceived as his point of view.
Next song?
But I couldn't finish it. I couldn't come up with that last verse. So I put it away in my mother's piano bench. Usually, if I can't finish the song, I throw it away and thank goodness I didn't throw this one away. And then a year later, when she broke up with me, I knew how it ended.
Oh, well, that's an interesting point. And at this moment, you've been doing a lot of things. Could you tell us where you're playing, or what's life like for you in California?
Well, I still play with the Beaters occasionally, and I also play with a big 18-piece band, which is sort of a dream come true for me. I've always wanted to do that, and a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, I made a record with a big band doing old standards, and well, I've been having a ball with that.
We used to call that the music of your life, but now they call it the music of your death, I think, but we're not sure yet. I remember playing it. I was on WNSW years ago. That was when Danny Stiles was on the radio. The Catman, yes, and the Cat. So I was on that. He put me on the radio, so I still have the tape of that. Maybe we'll play it. Anyway, we played a lot of all those songs you're talking about with Louis Prima and all the great people that you played with, I'm sure. And it was just it's just great that we hear the word standards again, because people should know all about American standards, because it's still popular in certain markets, unlike New York City. But we'll play it here on WPAT,
Well, a lot of I'm finding a lot of young people in their 20s like the music. I mean, the concept of the album I did, it's called Billy Vera Big Band Jazz, available on Amazon. The concept I came up with to make mine different than everybody else's is I wanted to do songs written by the great black songwriters, the Duke Ellingtons and the Count Basies and the Buddy Johnsons and people like that. And what I'm finding is that a lot of kids in their early 20s, they seem to have, in their quest for old music, they've leapt over the Beatles and the Stones and all that stuff, and they know all about Sinatra and Dean Martin and Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald, and they don't just know the hits, they know the obscure ones too. So that's very gratifying to see that happening.
Well, listen, you're a music historian. When did you first realize that you wanted to become a music historian? What gave you that sort of drive or interest to want to know so much about music? Was it in your teenage years, or was it later or earlier?
Well, even earlier. My mother was a professional singer, and she was in the Ray Charles Singers on the Perry Como show and the Frankie Lane show.
Ann Ryan, right? Ann Ryan.
That was her name, Ann Ryan. Yeah, that's the name she went by. And she brought home, old, music from her generation. Whether it was Benny Goodman or Tommy Dorsey or Frank Sinatra or Duke Ellington, and so I always, even though I was buying the records of my generation, which was Fats Domino and Chuck Berry and Frankie Lyman, I was also listening to the music of her generation. So I always had an interest in what came before, and then when I'd buy my little 45s, I always scoured the labels to see who the songwriters were and who the music publishers were. I wanted to know as much as possible.
Since I fell for you? Anyway, and your dad was Bill McCord. He was a wonderful radio and television announcer. Did you used to go visit radio stations when you were a kid, or television stations, or both?
Both, and with both parents. He was on NBC in New York for 30 years. He was a staff announcer there.
Okay.
So I'd watch him, in the booth, and they'd come in with a pile of scripts, and the director would, point to him, and then he'd speak. This is WNBC New York, with the big voices of God.
Almost like Don Pardo.
Well, they were good friends, yeah.
I remember that, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and then I'd go with my mom to Perry Como show. That was at the Ziegfeld Theater on 6th Avenue. And I'd sit in the dressing room with all the half-naked singers and dancers, in their lingerie. Got an eye full as a 12-year-old.
Listen, we're going to play some of your great music, and Since I Fell for You was one of your wonderful Billy Vera big band songs. You want to tell us, educate our audience about this particular song and what the song has meant to you over the years?
Well, I first heard it
I don't know how I come up with these questions.
with a group
I don't
called
know
the
where these come
Hartones.
from. They just fly out of your mouth.
And then some years later,
this is like radio.
Lenny Welch, of course, revived the song.
After
And then in my studies, I found that it actually went back to 1945 with the guy that wrote it, Buddy Johnson's big band, with his sister Ella Johnson singing the vocals. And I've always loved the song. Buddy Johnson's a great songwriter. And so when I decided to do the album Billy Vera Big Band Jazz, I said that one's got to go on there, you know. And I had the arranger write a chart that harkened back to the original Buddy Johnson arrangement a bit.
Right. Well, we're going to play Since I Fell for You. Hold on the line, Billy Vera, and we will be back as soon as Rob Rindeman, the producer, pushes the button and hits the song. And you know how buttons work on computers these days. It's not like it used to be. Or not. Oh, yes, or not. Well, let's give it a shot, Rob. Let's see which direction we're going in here on wpat. Oh, we got it there, Billy. Oh, listen to this song, Billy.
All right.
Huh?
Live in the cutting room.
Yeah.